welcome to this video. I just wanted to follow up really from the West Highland Way video that I did, where I basically did a video of my whole kind of week away doing the West Highland Way back in the summer. So that's got about 700 views or something. So I just wanted to do a quick video on what would be my kind of advice for anyone that's kind of looking to do it, because it's an amazing first time solo backpacking walk to do. Obviously you don't have to do it on your own, you do it with friends. I did it on my own, had a great time doing it. I met lots of people, but it's a really good walk to do if it's kind of like your first time doing solo backpacking, you know, wild camping, that sort of thing, because it's 97 miles, so it's, you know, it's very achievable versus something like the coast to coast walk, which what I'm doing next summer, which is 190 miles. So that's not ideally a good one to start out with. So West Highland Way is really good for first time. But this video is all about my advice in terms of what I would, what advice I would give to anyone who's going to be doing the West Highland Way. So my first bit of advice is to go in May, preferably at the start of May, because that's the best time to avoid the insects. The Scottish midges, the Highland midges, were out in force when I was there at the end of August. But if you actually go at the start of May, I believe that's the best time where you're not going to experience the onslaught of the midges. So whenever I wild camped by Loch Lomond or Bridge of Orchy by the river, any campsite basically, I think it was every night, I was just literally attacked. I had midgie bites all over my wrists, hands, and I think I remember looking down, I had them all over my hands and biting me and on my ankles and all that sort of thing. So best time of year to do the West Highland Way is at the start of May. Also it'll be less busy that time of year. When I went, it was the end of August. The trail was very, very busy with people all from all over the world, which was great. It was a great experience because I hung out with like this Canadian couple, and it was really, really good, and I met a lot of people. But I would go, if I was going to go again, I'd go at the start of May. So my next tip would be to wild camp. So I wild camped, I think, well, I camped every night, but I wild camped about, I think, 2 or 3 nights. I wild camped by Loch Lomond and then by the Bridge of Orchy, and it was just an amazing experience, really. I think when if you've seen on my video where I actually woke up, my tent was in the woods by the water, and literally when I think I did 60 miles that day, got to my wild camp pitch, and then I just literally just launched myself into the freezing cold water, the loch. And yes, it's still really, really cold, the water, that time of year at the end of August, but it was amazing. And then I got up in the morning, and you know, I had to bathe in the loch, and I had like a little bottle of Radox and stuff like that, and there was no showers, so that was an amazing experience. And you know, the mist was sort of rising up from the top of the surface. So there's just something about wild camping, and I've kind of really developed an interest in it, because I recently went and did a wild camp in the Peak District where it's freezing cold, and I got that interest from doing the West Highland Way, because that was kind of my first time sort of camping. But yeah, I highly recommend it's definitely worth booking in at some campsites, because then you get the use of the facilities like the shower. I wild camped twice. I think I couldn't have done it every single night, because I would have wanted to have a shower and things, and just to stay clean and that sort of thing. So that's my advice for that. Definitely do some wild camping. I think looking back, I would maybe have done 1 night in a B&B just to kind of treat myself, like have a bath or hot shower, and well, got the showers at the campsites, but you know, you get like a nice night, proper bed and things just for 1 night. So it kind of gives you something to aim for. So if you're doing it over 6 days, then why not on the 2nd night or the 3rd night book a B&B just for 1 night and just kind of refresh yourself and all that sort of thing. The next tip is absolutely vital. I don't have it on me, but take a Sawyer mini water filter. So this, you might have seen me in the video by the Bridge of Orchy, where I was sort of filling up a pouch of water, and then I screw on my Sawyer water filter and just filter the water through into my bottles. That was absolutely vital, because I ran out of water. It was so hot, and you know, I was drinking the water that I started with in the morning, and then You know, I could just literally, there's tons of water courses, a little mini waterfalls throughout the whole of the walk, so I could fill my pouch up and just filter the water all the time. And I remember once I'd finished the stretch on Loch Lomond, I got into the Highlands, I ran out of water and I just stopped and filled up my pouch and filled up my bottles, and it was probably the most important bit of kit that I had, because I was frequently running out of water. And I would just walk around the corner and it would be like, awesome, there's a water full there, and I can fill up my my bottles and things like that. So yeah, I got through a lot of water, but that's definitely one of the biggest tips I would give you if you were looking to if you're going to take anything out of this. So yeah, get a soil water filter. My next tip is footwear. Boots are really, really important. I use a pair of ultra running mid 4.0 kind of trail running. They're for trail running, but I've got like the ones that go up and look like walking boots, basically, to support my ankle. They're amazingly lightweight, but ultra are renowned for making this kind of wider toe box. They're so comfortable, it's unbelievable. I've never had a blister in them, and I did 97 miles on that West Highland Way. I didn't get a blister. So coupled with that, I used Bridgedale socks, which I highly recommend as well. So yeah, get some decent boots. Definitely, I highly recommend the Ultra. I'm sure, you know, a pair of Solomons or you know, Merrells, anything like that would be really, really good as well. The only downside to the Ultras is I felt maybe walking boots might have been a little bit better, because of the terrain that I was constantly walking on was like hard stone military roads. Certainly the stretch from the Bridge of Walkie to Kinloch Leven, which is about 22 miles. You know, it's just constantly on this military style road, and it was pounding my feet. I remember that day was painful, but my footwear is really comfortable. It's just, I just maybe needed something a little bit harder. So either Ultras or a pair of, you know, really decent walking boots. Don't get caught short on that, because a blister's the last thing you need when you're doing any kind of long distance walk. So yeah. Another thing, as I've sort of mentioned earlier, definitely do a camp by Loch Lomond. As I said, it was really, really good to camp by the loch, and then just throwing yourself in the water and stuff. You might be a bit cold doing it if you're doing it at the start of May, but I think it's pretty much cold any time of day, any time of the year that you go into the Loch Lomond. It's not like the oceans and the seas that are a little bit warm, especially in late summer. So yeah, do a wild camp for sure by Loch Lomond. The stretch between Bridge of Walkie to Kinloch Leven, so that was 22 miles. Now I would recommend to probably break that up into 2 days of like 11 miles or something like that, and that way you can do a wild camp in Rannoch Moor. So I think where I'm actually yelping in pain a bit on the camera on the video, where I'm saying I think I said something about this is it's really, really hard or something. I mean, I was in a bit of pain then. That was going through Rannoch Moor, and that would have been a good place to stop, do a camp, and yeah. So definitely do a camp by Rannoch Moor. Break that long day up into 2 days of 11 miles. Really, really good. So you just take an extra day, but I did it in 6. So you can do it in 7 or 8. Maybe it's best just to stretch it out a bit and enjoy it a bit more, rather than get into pain. So my next tip would be to train for it. So even though it's 97 miles, you need to have some form of fitness to do the West Highland Way. I mean, the coast to coast I'm doing next May, at the end of May, so I've got 5 months to train for that. I'm going to be doing quite a bit of training for it. You might see there's an exercise bike in the background, which I've just literally picked up today. So yeah, I definitely felt I could have been a bit fitter for the West Highland Way, but I definitely train for it. I'd recommend starting with something like a 6 mile walk, then the next weekend do a 9 mile walk, then a 15 mile walk, build up to about 18, 19 miles, because I think 20 miles is pretty much the maximum you're going to do in a day on the West Highland Way. So I highly recommend training and building up for it, just like you do a run really. If you want to do a 10k run, you do a 5k first, and you build up to a 10k, then a half marathon, then a full marathon. So it's the same thing with walking. But make sure you start your walking training on relatively maybe flat ground, easy, walking over farmers fields, something like that, and build up to doing something like the something that I'm going to do, which I haven't done yet, which is the Edale Skyline route in the Peak District, which is like 17-mile over the peak. So there's lots of different high up undulating terrain and a long distance. So that's a really good training course to do, which I'll be doing several times probably leading up to the coast to coast. So what else could I tell you? Just going back to training, yeah, because the hardest stretch was going along the northeastern shore of Loch Lomond, where you're literally scrambling sometimes over boulders, and that's a very, very treacherous stretch. So that was the longest day by far. I think it took me 12 hours or something to do that day, because the progress is slowed right down when you're going along the northern eastern shore of the loch, and you'll know about that when you come to it. So look out for that. I think the last thing I'll talk about is maybe gear. So I try to go as light as possible, really. I've got done a review of the Osprey Exos 48 backpack that I use. I used that on the West Highland Way. It was absolutely brilliant. It's such a comfortable bag. I used the Coleman Cobra 2-man tent, a couple of kilograms in weight. I won't be using that again for any long distance walk. I'm looking to get the Outkit Soloist, which is like a kilogram. It looks an amazing tent, to just keep my pack size down, but try to go as light as possible. You realise you don't need everything, especially for that. The West Highland Way is so well served in terms of facilities and things. Certainly in the earlier stretches, when you get into the Highlands, it's not so much. You've got pretty much Tyndrum, where there's a really, really expensive it's like supermarket there. Watch out for that. It's an absolute rip-off. But there's not really many facilities along that stretches, so you just need to be mindful for that. But just take what you need, really. I took like these adventure foods, which are really light, where I could just heat my water up and cook and things like that. But I think one of the campsites, the Benglass campsite, there was a pub there. I had a meal in the evening when I pitched up and that. So don't just go and take a load of food. I mean, I saw one backpacker who'd shopped everything at Decathlon. It was hanging like the sleeping bag, tied the sleeping bag onto her bag. It was hanging off the back of it. I was thinking that can't be comfortable at all. You need to be, mindful of packing your bag correctly, so you distribute the weight evenly, so you're not messing your back up or anything like that, and it needs to be comfortable. But the Osprey Exos 48 is a great starting point, because it's a very lightweight bag, and it's really, really comfortable. The back system's amazing, and just there's a lot of videos on YouTube in terms of how to pack for the West Highland Way. I haven't done a video on that, but it's definitely worth just making a list of what are the basic essentials, really, what you need for a 97-mile walk. It's the toughest thing, because you need to, if you can keep the weight down as much as possible, then you're just going to have a much better experience. I think my bag weighed like 11-12 kilograms, which is quite a lot. The tent didn't probably help matters, but yeah, that's it, really. I hope those tips are really useful for you if you're planning to do the walk. Again, I highly recommend it. The best thing about that walk is the dramatic change of scenery, where I arrived in Mulgai in the outer suburbs of Glasgow, where it starts, by the Costa Coffee there, and then you just go out into the wilderness, and then you get to Loch Lomond, and then you go into the Highlands and the mountains, and the change of scenery over a really short period of time is amazing. And then you round the corner at the end, and then you're kind of approached by, you see Ben Nevis, and Ben Nevis is kind of calling you home, and you come down into Fort William, and you finish it. It was an amazing experience. I remember the feeling I had after I finished it. It was just it's just nothing like it, and I'm really kind of getting into all this long distance walks. My next big one, as I mentioned, I'm really, really looking forward to, is the Coast to Coast, Wainwright's Coast to Coast, which I'll be doing next May. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that video. Plenty more kind of wild camps coming up. I'll be doing between now and sort of the summer and things like that, and maybe some more walks and that sort of thing. But please subscribe if you haven't already. If you like the video, obviously click the like button. That's always good. If you got any questions about the West Highland Way, just drop them in the box below. I only got just over 1,000 subscribers, so I don't really get many questions. But if you want to ask a question, please do. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and have a really good Christmas and Happy New Year as well. Thanks.